Hi, my name's Tanya. I'm from Integrated Human, and this video is called What the Beep is Trauma-Informed Breathwork. It's designed to give you the basis of information so that you know roughly what's going on and what I mean by various terms within the breathwork concept. So, what the beep is trauma-informed breathwork. Well, pause breathwork is a method of breaking down the stagnant emotions, patterns, and habits that your body holds on to. And by that, I mean the autopilot responses that your body just does because you've done it so many times, it's become automatic. It's an opportunity for our internal systems to see different perspectives. We can, for instance, show our body that we are safe. And we can also get those different signals and sensations back from our body, which is our body's way of talking. It's a chance for our awareness, our humanness, to just be still within the body and to reconnect to those signals and signs that our body is providing. It's a way to heal, release, transform. And in particular, for those of you who struggle with quiet meditation, this is a way for you to meditate and relax. So let's look at the difference between everyday breathing and breath work. First of all, let's talk about the shallow, quiet breaths that your body would automatically do if you were hiding from a big-ass tiger, yeah? But you also do it when you're concentrating on something, or when you're just, distracted and watching TV, your breaths will be quiet and shallow. And they give a particular signal to the survival portion of your brain, the bit right at the back, at the bottom, the oldest part of your brain. These shallow breaths tell your body that you're in danger, because your body doesn't know anything about concentrating on the plot of a movie or concentrating on a work task, because that's all, well, it's all other parts of the brain. It's parts of the brain that are not involved in survival, which is what this rear section of the brain is involved in. There's also those deep filling breaths that you take as you slide into a perfect bath. Or even those breaths when you get home from work, shut the door behind you. Oh, it's that done. Also, you can note the difference between pause breath work and other types of breath work. Holotropic breath work, for instance, is really quite intense and forceful. But there's pranayama, never sure if I say that right, breath work that is gentle, breath focus, while moving your body, shaping your breath. This form of breath work is often used with yoga. Pause breath work is intentional and conscious. It gives the brain something to do so that you can unhook from the workings of your body and allow your body to do the work, the emotional work quite often. Breath work is not, and I thought I'd make this clear early on, it's not just a time to just lay there and ruminate on all the stresses and the problems in your life. Yeah, that's not what this is about at all. Breathwork is not, those empty comments that someone might say to you, oh, just take a deep breath, love, you'll be fine. But it's also not like the breath-focused breathing you do in a yoga class. It's not like any of those things. It's really quite different. The benefits of breath work include, but are not limited to. Now, little side story. When I was creating this slide, I stopped at this point because the writing started to get smaller, and I wanted it to be easy to see, easy to read. I'm going to just read off the screen. Yeah. Benefits of breath work: immediate stress reduction and anxiety relief. in that moment, in that session. And if you can take it beyond the session, it can reduce stress and anxiety in everyday life. It improves mental and physical performance, promoting stamina. Just the simple breath work, actually, working your lungs as you would work a muscle, can improve your stamina. It can be really good for sport. Can allow you to connect with your emotions and an opportunity to change your response to them. By using particular intentions and breathing into those emotions, we can shift the body's response to those emotions. By taking deep breaths, oxygenating, that's why I never put that word in a presentation. Breathwork can revitalize your internal organs, enrich your blood, balance your hormones. It can reduce the toxins in your body. A lot of the toxins that you get rid of in your body will either leave your body as waste, as a bowel movement or as going to the toilet, but also you release toxins through your breath. A significant portion of toxins are processed through your blood, in your lungs, and then those waste products are expelled on the exhale. Breathwork can create mental clarity out of chaos or stress. Please don't worry about the curtains moving behind me, it's my dog. Breathwork can also minimize distracting and negative thoughts, can deepen your connection to your body, give you access to your higher power, your intuition and source. By source, I mean a spiritual connection, whether that be to earth, to your own higher self, to Mother Nature, to God, whatever works for you. Breathwork provides a release for stuck energy and emotion, for tension, and can also release trauma held in the body. We all have trauma. All of us. And this is why when I trained to do breath work, I wanted my breath work to be trauma informed. Be more on that later. In fact, more on that now. What it means to be trauma informed. There are these 6 principles, and just so you know how seriously I take them, I have them on a piece of paper, blue tacked to the top of my laptop, so that no matter what I'm doing, these principles are in my line of sight, are visually there to remind me that all of my work, whether it be coaching in a one-to-one environment, whether it be coaching in a group environment on one of my programs, or whether I'm doing one-to-one coaching with an individual on their own particular individual things, doing mentoring for other sort of body and food related materials. So I'm going to run through these and then pause for you to make a note of any questions. I know I'm not doing this live, but if you make a note of those questions, you can contact me either directly through a Facebook group or by email, however you want to contact me. There'll be details of that at the end to reach out with any specific questions or any not so specific questions. So anyway, number 1, safety and safer. It is important to create a safe environment for breathwork and for coaching. And that's physically safe, emotionally safe, energetically safe, spiritually safe, any kind of safe you can imagine. And when I think I might have just done enough for my client to feel truly safe, I ask, how can I help you to feel safer? This is a process we go through at the beginning of every breathwork session, and will be something that I'll pick up on during coaching sessions. The next of the 6 principles is transparency builds trust. This is a two-way thing. If you are transparent with me and I am transparent with you, then we can trust each other. I can trust that what you're saying to me is true for you. So that there's no games. Whenever I share with you a personal experience or an experience of one of my clients, it will always be true and real. And this builds trust. Being open and honest builds this trust. And that's important in any of these relationships. The third one, together we are trauma survivors. This principle is to cover a number of things. It's to cover things like encouraging a client to be part of a group of trauma survivors, especially if their trauma is a particularly a specific thing. I had one client talk to me about the trauma she felt while waiting outside the Birmingham arena after there had been a bombing. Even though she wasn't directly involved in the bombing, even though she wasn't injured in that bombing, she was waiting outside for someone who was in that arena. And that waiting experience was extremely difficult for her, causes her flashbacks, bad dreams. And I've encouraged her to be part of a group of family who went through similar experiences. We found that group together. But also it means together, you and I are trauma survivors. By that, I mean, I have experienced trauma in my life. You have experienced trauma in your life. And together, we can survive that trauma and we can explore that trauma. We can not necessarily move on from that, but we can grow around the trauma that is in our lives. So the next one, the power balanced partnership. This partnership is between you and I, or between the group and myself. It is power balanced in terms of every single person in a group is just as important as another. You are just as important as me. I have knowledge and training and experience, yes, but your experience is personal to you. So, like I said, I'm not any more important than you are in a coaching or breathwork relationship. We are power balanced in this partnership. To help with that, there is the next principle, which is empowerment. And I remind myself that we both have a voice. What we choose to say, what we choose not to say. We both have choice. I can choose whether or not I want to work with you, and you can choose whether or not to turn up to a particular session, or what is discussed in a session, or where we go in a session. But the third, and in my opinion, most important part of empowering my clients is that of consent. I will ask for your consent. And if you give that consent can be freely withdrawn at any time. And finally, acknowledgement and respect of the isms. Yes, that's not a acronym, it's a kind of a shortening. It covers everything from racism, sexism, weightism, ageism, any kind of prejudice against another group. Okay, so like I said, this is the point where I'm going to pause briefly. We'll cover that one in a minute. And just give you this opportunity to think of any questions you might have at this point. Or you can pause me. Anyway, I'm going to move on now. Feelings and body sensations. Right, this is kind of what can happen in a breathwork session. Now, if we do a breathwork session in person, I'm always going to start with safety, security, and touch. Safety, do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable? Security, simple things like just having a blanket available for you to snuggle under. Also, in person, there may be an opportunity where an emotion becomes stuck or energy becomes stuck in your body, and I can help you ground that with physical touch. I will always ask you if touch is okay, as a general question before we start. And also, before I touch you, is it okay if I help you ground by touching your feet? A question like that. And you can say yes or no. Or if while I'm holding your feet to help you ground, you want me to stop touching, you can tell me. It's that consent thing. Also, in in-person sessions and remote sessions, I will agree with you a signal to either stop or back off. During a breathwork session, there will sometimes be quite activating breathwork. And if I'm going too fast or my cues are too fast, you can slow down, speed up, stop, whatever section whatever signal works for you in whatever section of the breath work we're in. Yeah. Or you can just speak. Movement. I will always encourage your body to move, to wiggle, to stretch. If you need to yawn, please yawn, yawn. Because yawning is your body's way of saying, I need more air. So if we're doing a quiet, gentle breath at the time, and your body starts to yawn, it's your body literally saying, let's get some more air in. I'm just looking down to turn the volume down on my phone because I forgot to do that before I started. So, technique. Approximately 1/3 of people doing activating breath work experience tetany. Most often, it feels like a sort of cramp in the hands, and your hands become tense. Sometimes it can really claw in your hands, like this, like the lobster thing, and it's the tendons on the inside of your hand all pulling tight. Technique can also be felt in your feet or in the muscles around your mouth here, especially if you're doing a blow, like if you're using these muscles in a way that you're not used to using them. It's kind of feels a bit like cramp, but not quite. I very, very rarely feel tetany when I'm breathing. But if you do, release the breath pattern. Allow your body to settle. Flex your hands or your feet. Move, wriggle. And only when your body is ready, come back to the breath pattern. This is particularly important for you to take control of this if you're listening to a recorded breath work, because I'm not going to be able to see what's going on with you. Yeah. When I do one-to-one or group sessions online, I will always ask to be able to see you from eyebrows to pelvis so that I can see your hands in particular. In group, sort of in person, in group, I can see all of the bodies laid out around me, and I can give individual guidance and cues. But if you're listening to a recording and you start to experience tetany, you need to take responsibility for that. Release the breath pattern, settle, move, and then come back. Yeah. So the next thing, eyes. You can do breath work with your eyes open or with your eyes closed. If it is a pure breathwork session, really doesn't matter either way. Yeah. But if you're doing one of my sessions, which includes guided visual meditations, then most people find it easier to create the visualizations with their eyes closed. But it is a complete choice. The cues that I give to you. My voice is going to be the only voice you're going to hear, but your body also has a voice, and that voice is the loudest and first voice that you should pay attention to. If I'm encouraging you to breathe at a particular pace and your body wants to go faster, yeah, go faster. If your body wants to slow down, then slow down. There can be, during breath work, a release of emotions. Most often times, this sort of appears as tears, but can often be the need to shout or scream or release anger or shake or just clap your hands or rub your hands together. All of these things are welcome. Any body response is welcome. You may feel like you're floating, an out-of-body experience. There may even be sexual arousal or even tetany, but all of these things are welcome communications from your body. And the more often you do breath work, especially live guided breath work, the more your body will be able to talk and will be able to express and go through all of those benefits we covered earlier. So, the 5 breath patterns. I encourage you to try these along with me. I hope that my mic is going to be picking up the sound of my air. I'm also hoping in the near future, so maybe by the time you've watched this video, I will have done demonstrations, laying down demonstrations so that you can see how the body works when doing these 5 breath patterns. So these are just like the basic 5, the ones we use most often. The first one is called bliss, in and out through your nose. Dead simple. You can do this breath work sort of naturally and calmly, gently, or you can put some effort behind it. Blow breath is exactly the same, but in and out through your mouth. Lots of variations on this one, which we'll cover in a minute. Pulse breathing. This can be done just through the nose, just through the mouth, or in through the nose and out through the mouth. For instance, a 2 pulse going in through nose and out through the mouth looks like this. But like in, out, out. When you go to 4, it's in, out, 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 in, out, out. Halo is a breath that I use when I'm doing breath work most frequently, along with triactive are my 2 favorites. Because the air is moving in a circular motion for these 2 in particular, they can be great for activating and for releasing stuck emotions and trauma. So halo is in through the nose and out through the mouth. Loads of variations on this, including top holds and bottom holds. But essentially, it goes like this. While doing an activated version of halo, I'm going to be encouraging you to use your abdominal muscles to help pull the diaphragm down and push it back up again. The triactive breath is 2 breaths in, and then a single breath out, but over a count of 4. Sounds complicated, but you breathe into your belly and then into your chest. So that's the in part, and then out through your mouth. So it's in, out, in, out. I cue it by saying belly, chest, out, belly, chest, out. And it sounds like this. Belly, chest, out, belly, chest, out. It's a very activating breath. Lots of different ways of doing it. It's difficult to go through all of the potential ways because it's influenced by music, how experienced you are, how much breath work you've done. This is not usually a breathwork pattern that I will introduce to someone in the first couple of times they try breathwork. So let's try together. Let's just do 3 breaths of each. Or you can just watch, but breathe along with me. Bliss first. Now blow. Now a 2 pulse. See, I did all 3 different ways of doing pulse just by swapping over. Now we'll do 3 deep halo breaths. In through the mouth, out through the nose. And finally, triactive. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Before each breathwork session, I will run through the breaths that we're going to use, give you a chance to try them again before we dive into it. All the way through a breathwork session, I'm going to cue you with the name of the breath and then how to do it. And I'll keep doing this until you've been breathing with me lots. And then I might just cue the name of the breath, a quick reminder, and then leave you to it. Yeah. Each breath usually goes alongside a piece of music. Also alongside changing what you're seeing in your mind in the guided meditation versions. So many variations here. A few of the variants that I'd like to talk to you about. The main one is adding intention or effort, or directing the breath to a particular point in your body. So you can breathe in through your nose and direct that breath behind your heart, into your back, into these spaces in your body. It's easier to do it once you're actually in a session. But other than adding intention, effort, or directing the breath, there's not much else you can do with bliss other than adding pulses to it. And then it becomes a pulse breath. But with blow, the 2 that I use most often are gasping and hiss. So gasping is where you pull the breath in as fast as possible in a gasp, like you've been holding your breath and you just come up to the surface of the swimming pool and it's a big hissing is on the external. You breathe in and hiss, extending that exhale as long as possible. With a pulse, it's 2, 4, 6 pulses. Once you get more experience, you might want to try 8 pulses. But, I've been doing this kind of work for a good year now. This is recorded in the summer of 22, in case you watch it another year even. And I like doing 2, 4, and 6. 2 and 4, literally when I'm walking the dog. 6 when I'm laying down. 4 and 6 when I'm in a chair. But it's literally how many pulses you do. So it's 4, and then 6. Halo and pulse and hiss can all become variants all muddled in together. So you can pulse when you're doing halo, or you can hiss when you're doing halo. And you see how they cross over. And triactive is that breathing into the belly, breathing into the chest, and then out. Belly, chest, out. And you can add effort, you can add movement, you can start with your arms here and breathe in and out when you're laying down, swinging your arms around or rolling your body from side to side. The variations become so wide that I don't think I could even remember them if I sat here with a pen and wrote them all down. So finally, when it comes to the questions, you can honestly ask me anything. Can breathwork work with movement, with walking? Yes, it can. Ask the question. Is breathwork safe for children? Yes, with supervision. Young people? Yes, absolutely. Is breathwork safe when you're pregnant? Yeah. Keep the breathwork light and gentle. Don't breathe in too deeply, because that diaphragm movement is going to create movement for your baby. Yeah. So carefully. But, breathwork during the birth process is something that doulas and midwives have been teaching pregnant women forever. Panting. Yeah. That increase in oxygen helps the baby to get more oxygen while it's in the birth canal, while the cord may be trapped. So that kind of breath work has been done in the birth process for ages. But yeah, ask me anything. There are some circumstances in which breath work is not advised. But ask me. If you have a particular health concern, ask me before you do any breath work. So to work with me, whether it's breath work, which is what this has been all about, or whether it's with coaching, the first thing we need to do is connect. So message me and I'll get you a link for you to book a connection call. We can go backwards and forwards in chat for a bit first, connection call. And then if it looks like, we've got that connection and there's something that I can help you with, then we'll book a longer call, a strategy call, to figure out what and how and when and how often and what or which of my offers suits you best. So yeah, let's just stop this share. So I'll end this call by saying that breathwork can do loads of stuff. It can help with loads of stuff. So ask me, get involved in any free workshops that I put on. I used to do them quite regularly. They're not quite so regular now because I'm busy with clients and group work. But every now and again, there might just be a short integration breath recorded in a live on the Facebook page, for instance. So if you're not in the Integrated You Facebook page, yeah, ask me for that link too. So anyway, it's been lovely talking to you. It's been lovely sharing this little bit about breathwork. I studied breathwork for 6 months. There was modules and practice and practicum. So there's no way that I could have possibly explained all of it. So please do ask, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.